Hey, my friends. So today we're going to break down something most people struggle with, but nobody really understands. And that's emotional triggers. Now, you're not weak for having them. You're not broken for reacting to them. And you're not defined for having these feelings that just jump out of nowhere. Because here's the truth, my friends. Your emotions, they're not the problem. They're signals your system learned under stress. Now, this is especially true if you're a first responder or someone who's lived a traumatic event or through some trauma. Your body's been trained to react before you get a chance to think. I want you to understand that your body has been trained to react before you get a chance to think. Now, after trauma, emotions fire faster than thoughts. That's why triggers feel so immediate. It's not because you can't control yourself. It's because your system is trying to keep you alive. It's using that old code during high stress moments. What you're feeling today, my friend, is often a replay of what your body learned back then. Trauma doesn't create single reactions. It creates loops. The same emotional responses start repeating over and over and over again, like a loop. The shutdown, the anger spike, the numbness, the overthinking, the withdrawal. You feel stuck, my friend, because your body is recycling old survival patterns. And here's the important shift. You're not stuck because you're broken. You're stuck because the pattern hasn't been updated. So your nervous system is still running on that old version of you. Now, triggers, they feel so powerful because that fight flight response, it's incredibly fast. It reacts before your logical brain can get involved. Your heart races, your muscles tighten, your breathing changes. So your system, what it's doing is it's preparing you for danger, even if the situation really isn't dangerous anymore. Now, for me, my body goes into that fight flight response when there's a potential for an assault or a potential for a situation where I could have a use of force at work, right? And once the inmate in my situation starts beginning raising his elevation level, that is when my elevation level raises. And I remember back when I first started in as a correctional officer, I felt this was a bad thing. And I'm like, man, why is my adrenaline spiking when this is part of my job to deal with these kind of situations? Now, what it was doing is it was preparing myself for that potential fight. I wasn't running away. I wasn't being fearful. And until I acknowledged that, until I changed that pattern in my mind and going, this is okay to feel like this during this heightened situation, is when I began to kind of utilize it as a positive. Because on the other side of emotional awareness, there is slow and intentional. And it's a skill. It's not something that you magically have. And I've had to train this skill so that when I'm in that fight, flight, or freeze response, I can bring in my logical mind and I can go, okay, I'm going to do this if this was his reaction, right? You train emotional awareness the same way you train a muscle. You learn to notice what's happening inside your body, right? Instead of being dragged down by that reaction, you go, okay, why am I feeling like this? Is it normal? Is it abnormal? How do I respond appropriately in this situation? So here's a simple thing that you can do. And this is where the 3-step tool comes in, right? It's very simple, it's very fast, and it works so effectively. The first thing you do is you pause, okay? Give yourself a second to react. For some reason in life, we feel that a pause is supposed to be awkward, right? You might have been like, okay, why is he not saying something? Because that created that awkwardness. But that awkwardness and that pause is actually creating me time to think about what I'm going to say next. It gives me that opportunity to go, okay, how am I going to respond to that situation? Because it's 1 second, what it does is it's going to interrupt that loop. And it's going to interrupt the loop just enough for your brain to catch up. And then when you catch up, that's when you move on to step 2 and you label it, right? You name what you're feeling. I'm angry. I'm fearful. I'm sad. I'm overwhelmed right now. I'm frustrated. I have guilt. I have tension. Whatever it is, when you put language to that emotion, that intensity drops, right? You're in a strong situation. You're mad. You're like, you know what? I'm mad right now. And I can feel it within myself. It's like, yeah, I'm mad right now. And that's okay to be mad. Because that's real neural science, right? You're moving the emotions from that survival brain into the thinking brain. And then the last thing you do is you just breathe, right? Slowing your breathing, it kind of shuts down that button of that fight flight, right? And I've done that. I've been almost face to face with a combatant and I've just kind of paused. I've let him speak his mind. Take a deep breath while he's talking, and it lowers my heart rate. And even when you use like the 4-4-6 breathing, where you inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6, it's telling your body that the threat's over. Even if it's not, right? You're literally resetting your nervous system in real time. And when you do this, you allow your body and your mind to kind of catch up to your emotions. Because here, my friends, is where true transformation really happens. Every time you interrupt that trigger, you're weakening that pattern. It might not feel big in that moment, but your system, your mindset are creating those new neurons, and it's creating something new. And when you repeat this over and you create this positive loop, and you repeat this interruption day after day, moment after moment, you create that new emotional response. And this is how those micro resets rewire the brain, right? You don't need massive breakthroughs. We all think we need this massive breakthrough to change our lives. You just need consistent 1% shifts, small shifts every single day, every single trigger, every single moment. And this is where it's going to create that new outcome. So try it now. Try it right now. Scan your body. Notice where there's tension. Is there tension in your jaw, in your shoulders, your stomach, your hands? Now name the strongest emotion you're feeling. Whatever it is. Are you mad? Are you frustrated? Are you sad? Are you overwhelmed? Because, my friends, that's your starting point. And now pause and take in the 4-4-6 with me. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 6. And now remind yourself, this emotion, it's a signal. It's not a threat. It's a red light before you begin to go green again. Now that's the difference, my friends, between being controlled by a trigger and learning to decode it. You don't need to avoid emotions. Emotions are a part of life. You don't need to fear emotions. Emotions are a part of life. What you need to do is you need to understand the code they're running. And when you do this, you're going to finally get your power